Hello, hello, hello there. How are you all doing? We are now live. Welcome, everybody. I'll just give it another few seconds there for people to join. So you're very welcome today to our session on account customization. This is the next installment in our feature focus series. And while we're waiting there just a few seconds, I'll just give you a bit of the background on the feature focus. So it was set up by our team here in TolaData just to have a deep dive and a look into our different features. So as you know, you may be a new customer to TolaData, or you may already have an account and you just want to know more about a certain element or how to do something. And instead of having a big long webinar or a demo, we decided to break these down into short sessions. So that's what we're doing. We're trying to also do it in chronological order. So as I said, this is our 5th installment. So we started off with reporting on creating projects and then how to kind of set up the reporting periods for that project. But we also had 2 specials in that, and that was on our changelog feature and also on, there was another one last week on the time-based analysis feature. So we're going to build this catalog up, and they will also be available on our website in a catalog of resources down at the footer of our website. And that will be accessible there for the future as well. So you may be watching this live or you may be watching it back on YouTube. Either way, you're very welcome, and I'll give it a few more seconds there and then we will begin. So as I mentioned, my name is Anya and I'm in the customer success team here in TolaData. If you're interested in signing up for future episodes of this, you can see there on the banner online, and you can sign up at toladata.com feature focus. With that, and in the interest of keeping these in short, bite-sized, informative sessions, I will begin here. So first of all, the feature focuses. The next one we'll be looking at is creating an activity plan, and that will be in 3 weeks' time on the 22nd of March. So in that, we'll be looking at setting up a project, just giving a short presentation and then showing you how to actually do that. So we hope you can join us for that one as well. What is account customization in a nutshell? So this is of particular interest to the org admins. A big part of what we'll be discussing today is the different permission levels. If you're new to TolaData, it's something I think that can trip people up almost. With the different permission levels, you have different access and you're able to edit different elements of the software. But as well as that, there's also an org admin and an org user. If you're an org admin, you would have created the project or created the organization, and it's kind of like the super user to the project. And then org users, they are the people who will then have to be added to the project. So as the org admin, you can invite new users and also configure organizational details. And I'll be showing you today quickly how you do that and where that lies in the platform. We'll also be looking at the different permission levels as well. And the reason we have these different permission levels is for that added data security and the management to grant that to different users, just so you can really make sure that your data is secure and not everybody can edit everything, because that could really lead to some mishaps. So which part of the TolaData application does this feature sit in? So you will see there the project, the overarching project, we have the orange tabs, and that is basically our navigation bar. So you can see we have the details, the activity, the indicators, the data tables, and then we have the forms, and finally in the purple there is the dashboards. So the dashboards is where we do the reporting, and then all those tabs is where we configure the project and enter the collected data. But where we're working today is actually in the admin console. So that will be up at the profile badge up on the top right of your profile. So in that, we'll be looking at configuring the organizational wide settings. And then we'll also be looking at managing users, inviting new users, where to manage your subscription, how to export, and then also we'll be looking at those team permissions, and that is actually in the details tab. And the reason then that we jump from the admin console to the details tab is again because we have to individually add our colleagues in our organization to the projects. We'll get into all that later. It is It can be a bit confusing, but I hope with this slide here of the different permission levels. So this is an overarching look at the different permission levels. So you can see I have them split up into the organizational ones, and you can find that in the admin console, and that is the org admin, so they have full access to the platform. They are automatically assigned to the creator of the organization, so that whoever set up your TolaData account will be org admin, but there's also multiple org admins possible. The second type of organizational user is the org user, and this is managed by the org admin, and they have to be added to the individual projects, but if they create their own project, then they're automatically assigned to that project as project admin. I know I'm going to be repeating myself here, and it is going to get a bit confusing, but hopefully here you can see how these arrows are laid out. The org user then is either the project admin, edit user, data entry, or view only in the project. So the org admin has permission to edit this in each project, and the project admin then is is a super user to that project, and they have management permissions to edit other colleagues' permissions to that. They have full edit rights, and then there is also multiple project admins possible. With the edit user then, that's similar to the project admin, except they have limited ability to delete information. The data entry then, you can only enter the data and you can't delete anything or edit anything. And then finally, view only, you can only go into the project and look at it, which I will point out, you also do still need a license to be a view only user. Finally then, I just want to touch on dashboard permissions, because just to keep things interesting, we've also created different permissions for that. And again, for added data security. So there is a dashboard admin, and that is the creator of the dashboard, and they manage the permissions for each dashboard. There can be multiple dashboard admins allowed, and then the edit access is similar to this. The only difference is that a dashboard admin can share the dashboard externally with anybody outside the organization, while the edit access can't. But they can still create new widgets, they can still add a description to the dashboards and change the color or style as well. And then finally, I have the shared internally there, which you do that through the settings tab in the dashboard. And that's just so other users in your organization can see the dashboard. Next. So if you want more information on that, which I'm sure you do, we have a breakdown on our website at toladata.com. Under our quick start guides, we have a manage team members article, and you'll see there just popped up on the presentation that it's really just a breakdown telling you exactly what each user can do, can delete, and edit in the platform as well. So why did we create these features? So these features will give you a tailored experience in our platform. And when I say that, you can change the headings or titles for a lot of our navigation. So if you have kind of a different working language within your org, you'll be able to edit that for more easier to navigate experience. Also, you can change the branding or the colors on our dashboard. So I think that's an easy way to make your organization look more concise and put together. And then that will bring us to the added data security. So with these different permission levels, you will see that when you log in, if you only have access to certain projects, your list of projects will be shorter. This makes it easier because you'll just see the relevant projects to you. Finally, there you can see the better management of licensed users. So you can activate and deactivate users as well. So if somebody leaves your organization, you can deactivate them and easily add the new user. Finally, why did we create these? Everything leads to the data-driven results and visualization. So for better reporting, and then when you report on that, you can see our lovely graphs and lovely charts done out. So everything's leading to the reporting. So today we will be covering looking at configurations of the different headings in the platform. We will also create custom color and styles for reporting. And then finally, we'll be adding new team members and looking at their permissions. So with that, I'm going to pop over and I'm going to give a short demo on these different features and where they lie in the platform. So when I pop into TolaData there, when you log in, this is what you will see on your screen. So you can see the navigation bar there in the left-hand side. We have the project, details, activity, indicators, forms, data tables, and dashboards. What's going to be most relevant to us today, though, is up on this right-hand side, you can see here the AF for Anya Farley. So that is my profile. And if I click on that, everybody will have access to the profile and log out, but it's only the org admins that will have access to the admin console. So in the screen here, you can see my long list of projects, but that is because I am org admin to my project. So I have full access to absolutely everything on the platform. And if I click in here, you will see this is what the admin console looks like. So we'll really dig into this now. So you can see our first tab here that we'll be looking at is the configuration. I'm going to be doing a lot of clicking around now in the platform, and that is because I want to show you where each of these manifest or live in the platform. I will mention as well, you'll have a chance to ask questions at the end. So if you're wondering where anything exactly is, or if you get stuck on anything, please feel free to ask it at the end. So you will see here our first option is to change the title of our workflow levels. So level 1 to 4, this project here is this project on the navigation bar on the left-hand side, similar to our activity here, and our task and subtask is in our indicators. So if I want to change the title of the project admin, I might just zoom out slightly there because I think it's might be hard to see on screen. So if I want to change the activity there, I can just type in, let's say, project management. Project management, and you'll see there the save button popped up. And also if I want to change the name of task to assignment, I nailed the spelling that time. And if I click save, you'll see that button has disappeared. But if I refresh my web page, you will see that this title is now changed to project management. And if I click into that, what was add a new task is now add a new assignment. So if I click back into the admin console, you can see there that that is where you edit those titles. With these configurations here on the right-hand side, that's pretty straightforward. You can change the date, the currency, the number format. And I will point out this is very important for when you're uploading data tables, that they have to be in the same format. Otherwise, the software won't be able to read them. So if you ever have trouble uploading data tables, that could be something that is slightly off in the table you're uploading. These custom groups here, these are very handy for when you have maybe up to 20 plus projects in the software. So you can have unlimited projects in the software, but sometimes, as I just showed you when you logged in, there's a massive list of projects and you don't know where to begin. So to help with that, we have this custom group here. If I want to create a new one, and I could name the project, if I just create a group and call it EU projects, that is number 1 because we don't have a number 1 yet. And if I save that, you will see there I've created a new group. So where this actually is useful in the software, if I click back into our home screen here in the projects, and I have a very long list of projects, we're doing lots of work in our organization. So if I go to filter that, you will see there, this is where it pops up. So I have my EU projects there, but for the sake of this, I will show you our SDG results. So this is all our projects working in the SDGs, and you'll see there it pulls up a list of them. So it's a lot easier to navigate in that way. If I pop back into the admin console now and into the configuration tab, if I scroll down here, you can see these different approval types, offices, and these different sites. So I'm now going to show you where they live. So for the approvals, this exists in the Details tab. So if I want to add a new approval, let's say for a travel budget. So this is configuration for use in your whole organization. You only really have to set all this up once, and then it will be available for everybody to use. So if I click into the project management here, and if I click into a task or assignment, as I just renamed them, if I click into that approvals tab and then hit that green button for add an approval, this is where that appears in the platform. So that is where you can see I have my new travel budget. I can click on that. I can assign it to a team member. And then when I save that, they will get an email to approve or deny that approval on my travel budget. So again, these are preset. And the reason for that is just to have everything organized, that if I'm only adding data or adding something into the software, I feel like this is not, it's a lot simpler to navigate and use if it's already set up in platform. If I scroll back here to the admin console and back into configuration, I'm just going to show you then where this office is here. This offices and these sites, these are similar. So I'm going to add two of these together. If I add a new office, let's say in, we'll go for Ireland. So let's say our Dublin office. And then country Ireland. I feel like that's a bit biased for me since I am from Ireland. But if I save that and scroll up here, I can do these at the same time and show you where they live because they're both similar in where they are, and enter new site name. So if we say if that's our EU head office, I'll also save that. If I pop into the details level here, that is configuring the headings for our sites tab. So if I go into the details section, then into the sites, and I want to add a new site, I can call the site our EU HQ. So EU head office, I can click on that. It's already in the platform, already ready to go. And then the office, Dublin, perfect. And then let's say I can just choose my country there, which is Ireland, and save that, and I have the new site set up. So if you're working across multiple sites in your organization, that is a very feature just to have pre-set up. You can see it down there. So finally, if I click back into the admin console and scroll down here, the final one is the stakeholder types. So if I want to add a new stakeholder, you're getting used to these green buttons. If we call our new stakeholder EU funder, save that, and this stakeholder types, again, this exists in the details level. So we're doing all the configuration for use further in the platform. And if I click up here to our stakeholders tab, you can see that they are pre-set up in the platform. Stakeholder name, we'll just call them EU. You can add an ID code, add a role, our donor, and then that is from our EU funding group. And then we can choose a country as well. And that pops up there for added configuration in the platform. Finally, if I click back into the admin console, we are after running through the configuration. So that is how to edit all of these headings. And I want to now show you just on this aggregated indicators for reporting period here. This is what we had our feature focus on last week. So if you want more information on this, you can go back and check that out on our YouTube channel. But this basically is just preset for the whole platform for every project in the organization. For the time-based analysis of aggregated indicators, they already have the annual period set in platform. So you can also add different periods here of custom or standard, but just to flag that that's also there. The next tab you can see there is the users. So these users, you can see the active users are all the users in my organization. And then if I scroll down, you can see the inactive users. So these may be past employees, they may have just been on for a project and then left. And if I scroll back up here, the way I can activate or deactivate somebody is simply by clicking this button here. So I can deactivate that user, and now they will not have access to the project. But how do I add users? First of all, you do that again by clicking this green button, popping in an email. When I click add, that person will now get an email, invited one user, so that person will get an email and they will click on the link and be invited to join my organization and set up a password. But they will only be active in my account. They will be an org user and won't have access to any projects. So there's two things I can do there. I can either make them an org admin, which will be the super user. They will have access and be able to see everything in my profile. But let's say it's an employee who's out on the field just collecting data, and I just want them to be able to log in, enter the data on the date, and log out again. So if it's for a particular project, and I want to add them to it, I'll click into my projects here, choose my project. For this, I'll choose the Humanitarian Health Project. And in that Teams tab, if I click on that, you will see a list of all the team members on this team. So if I'm just after adding someone, they've created their password, logged in, I now need to add them to the project. So with that, I'll click add existing team member and I'll have a list of the team members here. And when I click on my team member I want to add, they will now have view only access, which means they can't edit or change anything. So if I click on that, I can then change it to the data entry, edit access, or project admin. So you'll see they're stratified. So going up, the more access they have. So I want this user to have project admin access because I want them to take over the project, set it up, edit, delete indicators, do the whole lot. So I'll leave them with project admin access. Finally, if I click back into the admin console here, and just briefly look at the organizational details and exports. So this is just the information in the organization. These subscription details here, if you want to add new users, you can't actually do that through the platform. So you can contact myself or one of my colleagues, or even info@toladata.com, and we can update your subscription for you. And also just to show you, this is the exporting down of the bottom of project lists or IATI exports. And you can just click that button and it will download as a CSV file onto your PC. These changelog settings here, again, we conveniently had a changelog feature focus last December, if I'm not mistaken. So that was a deep dive into this feature and it will show you exactly how this exists in the platform. But this is where the org admin can decide who can see the changelog, and the changelog is basically a list of edits or a list of deletes, a list of changes in the platform, just to keep track of who's doing what. So you can choose what information to display, and then you can also choose who can see that, or you can also just turn it off or on. Finally, I just want to pop into the custom styles here in the admin console, which is the final tab. This third-party apps configuration is just available to our team at the moment. We are working on developing that. But in the custom styles, you can see here we have different branding. So this is available to everybody who has a license, and the org admin can set it. So if I scroll back up here, you can see all the lovely colors we have created. And if we add a new dashboard, we'll go again with the EU theme. And I'm just going to change the colors. So you can do this, you can see here, by the RGB or also by the hex. I know a lot of organizations just work off the hex codes, so you can just pop them in there. But if I just choose these different colors, it's only the org admin again who has access to this. And this is a part of the software that I really like, when you get to really visualize your data and set it up. So just pop through this, arbitrarily adding some colors. I'll go for yellow. Great. Now I'm going to show you where you actually use these in the platform. So if I save that, you can see now this is my new branding for my organization. And I've set them up here, which only the org admins have access to. But if I click into the dashboards, this is a list of our dashboards. Again, these have slightly different permission levels to the rest of the platform. But if I click into this example dashboard here, you can see if I click into the Teams tab, I am dashboard admin. So I have ability to add new users here, add existing team members, and also edit the dashboard. But currently you can see that on this dashboard, we have a lovely, fun, colorful style, but I just want to add that EU color palette. So I'll click in there, save that, and you'll see how that pops up there and changes the colors. So with that, we have ran through the different permission levels and also the admin console. With the profile, who everybody has access to, this is where you can change the language as well. So we have different languages there, and we're always open to developing this. And then also just a integration of your offline data collection sources as well. So just to flag that's there. But with that, I will pop back into the StreamYard, and it is a chance to answer some questions. So we only have a few minutes left, but if you want, you can go to menti.com, enter that code, or use that QR code. So I'll pop that up on the screen there as well, so you can go onto the website, put in the code, and ask your question. I'm just going to share this tab here, and you can still see the banner there. So if you have any questions, you can still ask away. The permission levels as the customer facing role, it's a question I get a lot, is like, I can't see this data, I don't have access to this. And a lot of the time it is the different permission levels, but it's very easy to change it. You can just get onto your org admin or a project admin in a project, and they can easily then change your different permissions. So give it a few minutes there to see, do we have any questions? I will point out as well that if anytime you're stuck on the platform, you can pop down to our live chat at the bottom right and ask a question to any of our team there, or either just contact us at info@toladata.com. Give it another minute there. So question, can I add a company logo to the platform? Great question. So with the branding is free of charge and anybody can add that with the license. The company logo, I think there is a small fee to that, but if you get in touch at info@toladata or even Anya@toladata, I can get a price off our developers. But with the color customization, that is all included in the license. The styles for colors in the visualizations, can anyone edit these? So for the different color styles, that is only the org admin who can change that in the admin console. But then in the dashboards, if you are a dashboard admin or an edit user, you can change that. I will actually point out, that's a good question, and it reminded me that if you are an org admin, you can set a default color style, which will save anybody having to change anything. So that is probably the easiest route to take, that if you just check, set this as default, it will be available to all dashboards. Next question there is, how many colleagues can I add to the projects? For this, you can have as many licenses you have in your organization. So we start at 2 licenses to infinity. So if you have 20 users, you can add the whole 20 user licenses to a project. It's totally up to you and who's relevant to the project. Another question there. What if you want a customization other than what you've shown us today? Great question. So if you want or you think of a feature, you can let us know. I'd say first get in touch and see if it's developed, if it's already been developed, because we are constantly developing software. Get in touch, let us know what it is. We'll give you some feedback, let you know if it's already in the pipeline. If it's not, or if it's something very particular to your organization, we will get a price off the developers, and then we would have a conversation with how we go forward with that. Thank you for those questions. They were actually quite useful. If there's nothing else there, we might leave it because we're actually hitting the 30-minute mark. But thank you very much for joining today. And again, any questions, pop into the chat on our platform and we will get back to you there. So thank you very much for joining, and we'll see you on the 22nd of March for our next installment.